D, the Mad Welshman. With me are Voltic Surge. Whoops.
Hey.
Salted Grump.
Yo.
And EpicMissingNo.
Hello.
And we are playing Fthagn, Tales of the Creeping Madness. Keep in mind, I will not be able to see names in chat, because Windows shenanigans. Nonetheless.
Well, look on the bright side. We know exactly where the Tales of Creeping Madness are going.
Oh,
By
yes.
Software.
Yes! Yeah, that sounds about right. So, there are lovely options. For example, this game has a color blindness mode, which I have turned on. We are turning off Play with Unlocks, because that would reveal the stat spoilers that I've unlocked. We will also disallow the spending of Elder Signs, partly because I have none on this run, and partly because it would unlock spoilers. And we will not be playing with tutorial. I will be explaining. I will also be dramatically reading. Ah, what fun. So, I am taking the red cultist. There are no arguments here. The rest of you may fight amongst yourselves.
Blue.
Lovely.
Grump is blue.
I'll take yellow.
Yellow, yes. I think. Remember, colorblind. Yellow and green are very similar here.
Fishman.
Fishman. Okay. Right, so... I have to ready my voice. I love the sound effects, by the way. The music, the sound, they are lovely. So our goal is to do one of 8 summonings. I will explain the summonings. They have a major and a minor stat requirement. Here they are. We have the Conjunction of Abloketh. After 100,000 years, the Conjunction of Abloketh, visible only to the mad astronomer, will once more darken the night sky. So if anyone wants to go for that, they can guess what stats that requires. One major, which is 8, and one minor, which is 6.
What are the stats, by the way?
The stats are Influence, with the keywords of Charisma, Persuasion, Indoctrination, and Followers. Body, keywords of Strength, Constitution, Weapons, or indeed, you can usually work out when body's involved. Performance, which is a combination of your dexterity, reflexes, artistic ability, lying, subterfuge, and stealing. So it's your dex and charisma. Interestingly. Magic, your ability to do magic. Gee, I wonder what keywords that involves. Knowledge, again, this is a bit of a no-brainer. Sanity. Now, sanity is sanity or insanity, a staple of Lovecraftian fiction. Sometimes you want the one, sometimes you want the other. And, of course, riches, because, funnily enough, one of these endings does require money to unlock.
Are we at all surprised that one of the elder ones would love money?
Well, funnily enough, we seem to be summoning Cthulhu every time, but, obviously we have many different ways. For example, the Obelisk of Mortarthia. At the appointed time, the scribe must read the inscription off the Obelisk of Mortarthia. He alone may carry the blessed tome to the most holy temple. That's a big book. The hateful screech of Through the hateful screech of the blessed shouter's screams will wake the ancient dreamer. The jade gong. In accompaniment, strike the jade stone gong, its mystical resonance adding cadence to the ceremony. The Maltese cockerel. Finally, let crow the gem-studded Maltese cockerel. Let its crow sound the doom of the world. The Vigilant. Heed these warnings. Be prepared for the intruder and craven traitor. And speaking of traitors, the FBI infiltrator. For your doom will be from the wolf in sheep's clothing. Beware.
Is that person doing a finger gun pose?
They very much are.
Yeah.
Right, so I have an idea of what I'm gonna go for. You don't choose it, by the way, you just you just do things and people can work it out. So I'm going to indoctrinate people at the Church of Starry Wisdom. Putting on your best fake smile, you convince the hapless to join your cause. Gain 1 performance and 2 influence. Your first big assignment was to hold watch over the summoning of an Ulgog. It was an easy enough job, but curiosity gnawed at you. What is an Ulgog, you thought, looking over toward the ritual? You were just an acolyte, after all, so there was probably no harm in staying or taking a quick peek. Maybe you could even learn some magic. Well, duh. Curiosity getting the better of you, you creep over to the nearest window. As the cultists complete the ritual, an ethereal wisp materializes in the center of the circle. It was only at that moment that you realized all the other cultists had covered their eyes with runed cloths. Before you could
Oh boy, I
avert...
hope it's like insanity.
Yeah. Before you could avert your eyes, you heard a grating whisper inside your head. It has seen, the voice whispered into your mind. Lose 1 sanity. Suddenly, the wisp darted straight at you and struck you against the forehead. You blacked out. When next you woke up, you had a strange glowing mark on your forehead. Gain 1 magic. So, who is the lady? I forget.
That would probably be me.
Good old Grump. Blue. So, what would you like an idea of? The town hall, for example, has 1 money and 2 influence, or 1 performance, 1 sanity, and 1 influence.
And let's see, what's that building just between the, just south of the hospital?
Oh, the asylum. The Arkham
No,
Sanitary...
the one that looks like a brothel.
Oh, that would be Madame Fufu's. Where you can either take 1 influence and gamble, or 2 performance and 1 sanity.
Oh, let's go and hit up the Miskatonic University.
That sounds good. Would you like to delve through tomes, which would be 1 insanity and 2 knowledge, or go on an expedition?
Well, let us go on an expedition. See what madness involves.
Yes, lovely. And it is pretty mythos-like. They know their literature. You convince the university faculty to send you on an expedition. You push your body to its limits, searching for lost artifacts and forbidden knowledge. Gain 1 body, 1 knowledge, and 1 magic. A pretty strong opening move, considering it doesn't give away your intentions. The cult had sent you with money to bribe an official. On the way, you had a thought. As a cultist, it is kind of expected of you to be a backstabbing son of a gun. Therefore, the logical course of action would actually be to keep the money for yourself. It would be easy to pull off either way, but if you keep the money, you'll have to make it look convincing. Alternatively, carrying out the drop-off might lead to some more blackmail opportunities. Do you make it look like you were robbed, or go through with the payment?
Well, let's go through with the payment. We're looking at the long run.
Deciding not to cross people who can literally summon monsters, you head for the meeting site. The drop-off goes without a hitch, and you make a mental note of the official's face. Could be useful for later. Gain 2 influence. Very good. Other lady.
I don't know if that's me or...
The alternative term is green.
Yes. Thank you.
I think I was green, I can't remember.
Well, we'll say you're green.
I'm pretty sure you agree.
Alright, let's see if I'm gonna check out the...
There's the witch's hut. You cannot go to the university.
yeah.
You cannot go to the church. You could go to the town hall for some influence. The sanitarium for some sanity and knowledge. Downtown for some body and you know,
I'm going to check out the asylum.
Okay, would you like to gain some insanity and knowledge by experimenting on the patients, or check in, getting some knowledge and some sanity?
I think I'm just gonna check in.
You have seen too much, and you feel your fragile hold on reality slipping. Some time spent in the asylum has given you more insight into the human mind, and helped you achieve some inner peace. Gain 1 knowledge and 2 sanity. This cult thing was actually quite fun. Considering that you were all a bunch of evil bastards, there was a surprising amount of camaraderie. For instance, today was Sally Whittaker's birthday, and the other cultists had worked together to organize her a little party after the weekly ritual sacrifice. It was your job to bring the cake.
Okay.
Since you wanted to make a good impression, you had decided to bake it yourself. In your grand wisdom, you had decided to pop over to the Athenaeum and grab a recipe from one of the grimoires. Seeing as you weren't yet too familiar with the ancient languages, you relied mostly on the pictures. One cake looked quite cool, with multicolored lightning bolts flying in every direction. You assumed the lightning bolts were used metaphorically. The other cake had a giant, muscle-bound figure erupting from it. Probably meant for a bachelorette party, but now wasn't the time to get picky. This is not stat-based, this is just which one.
I mean, I don't know, is one of them gonna fuck me if I pick it? Because I kinda wanna pick the muscle man
one
cake.
of these games. Of course, one's going to screw you over in some way. In
So,
fact, they're
you
going to screw
want
over
the
in
muscle
some way.
man cake?
Yes! Just for comedy option.
The recipe called for a lot of Yeti pheromones and troll glands, but as per usual, Mrs. Wiggins' pantry had everything you needed. Seeing as the cake was hollow, you figured it would be a fun prank to jump out of the cake and shout, "Surprise!" as Sally came in. With everything prepared, your magnificent cake was placed in the center of the room, awaiting the birthday girl. As you heard Sally come in, you tried to suppress your giggling, not even wondering why the cake seemed to be shrinking. You could hear her muffled speech as she thanked everyone for the lovely party, and it wasn't long before you heard her walking up to the cake to cut everyone a piece. When you felt that she was close enough, you jumped out of the cake and yelled, "Surprise!" Sally Whittaker promptly died of fear as a gigantic hairy monstrosity erupted from the cake.
Oh no! Now I feel like an asshole!
You're a cultist, of course you're an arsehole.
Apparently, the chemicals in the cake had seeped into your body, causing your muscle mass to nearly double, giving you a pair of sharp tusks and covering your body in matted fur.
I didn't expect that.
Gain 2 body.
Oh great, now I look like Chewbacca.
Though you were now great in a fight, it unfortunately meant hours of grooming, shaving, and tusk filing whenever you wanted to go out.
Okay, that's amazing. I didn't expect that to happen.
I didn't
No one
either.
ever expects these things to happen.
So,
Part of the fun.
epic missing number, you have left the town hall, the magic shop, the witch's hut, Madame Fufu's, and downtown.
Well, as a freaky fish guy, I believe I should go nearest the water.
Ah, the witch's hut. Very
So
good. Would you like some body, or would you like some magic? Body and knowledge, magic, body and insanity.
I think I would like to get swole.
You would like to get swole. So it's time to hunt monsters. Armed with the knowledge from dusty tomes and ancient weaponry, you track down and fight mythical creatures, preparing their organs for the ritual. Gain 1 knowledge and 2 body. It was your first Albokama ritual, and you excitedly took your place in the circle as the High Priestess started her fervent and trance-like incantation. Halfway through the ritual, you suddenly felt an all-too-familiar spasm in your gut, and realized that your spicy lunch was about to make a comeback.
Not exactly the most cultist-y.
No,
thing.
wait for it.
No.
There
Oh,
was
boy.
absolutely no way you could excuse yourself, and the ritual was far from over.
Oh boy.
Oh no.
This is gonna get good.
If you let it rip, you'll have to be ready to shift the blame. But if you keep it in, you'll definitely learn the meaning of pain. What will you do?
I mean, we're trying to summon Cthulhu.
Mm,
Obviously, we're going to teach everyone the meaning of pain. So,
best to learn first?
yeah.
Okay, yeah. You were new to the cult, and your reputation couldn't handle an embarrassing incident. You bravely decided to keep your trouser coffin.
Trouser golf. That's a new one. I've never heard that one before.
Oh, that's
Neither
good.
have I.
Yeah.
This is a hell of a game.
The ritualistic back and forth rocking increased the agonizing spasms racking your intestines, and your painful moaning complemented the priestess's ecstatic chanting. With pure determination and clenched buttocks, you valiantly hold the whopper at bay. Gain 2 body.
Well, now you're swole.
Yeah. I said I wanted to get swole, and now I am.
With the ritual finally over, you swiftly made your way to the restrooms for a well-earned release.
What the hell?
Nice.
That's so amazing.
That
So
was great.
I'm going to keep going to the church, only this time, it's time for a bake sale!
Ooh.
Even a pretend church needs a real bake sale. You spend your time making beautiful cakes and selling them for a tidy profit. Gain 1 performance and 2 riches. You still can't believe your luck! The exquisite and talented actress, Amy Brooks, became a member of the church. Almost dying from pneumonia a few months ago, Miss Brooks developed an acute desire to broaden her spiritual horizons. She wants to contribute to the community in a significant way, and felt that the Church of Starry Wisdom would be the perfect place to achieve this. Naturally, you're only too happy to oblige. Create a radio show or host a charity gala. You spent an entire day trying to think of people to invite to the Starry Wisdom Charity Gala for orphans who can't read good. Nada. You couldn't think of a single person to invite. You came to the realization that your social life was actually quite sad.
Wait, was that a Zoolander reference?
Might have been. Lose 1 sanity. Amy was threatening to leave the church if no one showed up, so you came up with a cunning plan. You gathered up all the beggars you could find, washed them, cleaned them, and dressed them up as gentlemen. Amy was in awe, albeit slightly suspicious at the wonderful turnout at the gala. Gain 1 performance. Good save. But still a fail, technically. Mr. Grump.
Yo.
Oh, I love that. There's a little eye at the town hall.
Well, I went to the university earlier, so let's swing by the town hall and see if I can make myself some more influence.
Some influence, you say? Well, you're gonna love this. Look who's the mayor!
Oh.
Blackmail.
You organize compromising situations for key officials in government and aim to collect at an inopportune time. Gain 2 influence and 1 riches. What's the use of infiltrating government if you aren't going to abuse your power? It was time to make some decrees. On the one hand, you could create a ban on all occult books, have them confiscated, and just take the best ones for yourself. On the other hand, you could make it illegal for a woman to drive a car in Main Street, unless her husband is walking in front of her, waving a red flag, which would cause major traffic jams and an increase in police response times. Seeing as you'll only be able to pass 1 of these, it was time to get bureaucratical.
Bureaucratical. Never heard that word either.
Mm.
Those are
Well,
both
with that
pretty
in mind,
funny
let's
options.
create some traffic jams. I can screw up everyone else, or simply just screw up the police response to the inevitable summoning.
True. Sitting in your favorite lounge chair, reading the paper, you were only mildly annoyed by the hooting going on outside. You just smiled and turned the page as you heard a loud crashing sound, followed by angry screaming. In the distance, you could hear the sound of alarm bells ringing at the First Bank of Arkham, and, in the opposite direction, police sirens not coming any closer. With the heist going off without a hitch, your crew met you later that night at the abandoned warehouse, their bags filled with cash and a couple of artifacts. Gain 2 riches and 2 magic.
That actually worked out pretty well.
Green.
Alright. I'm going to either go to the Witch's Hut or... either the Witch's Hut or the university. No, wait.
Yes, the university could get you, I don't know, knowledge.
Yeah, I think I'll try the university this time. Now that I have a giant, Chewbacca.
Yep,
Not too incredible.
delving through tomes, then. Yes?
Yeah, sounds good.
You spend your time locked in the Orn Library, perusing dark treatises, occult manuscripts, and sanity-shattering tomes. Gain 2 knowledge, but lose 1 sanity. Your research has led you to a small village in the Amazon jungle. Here, a tribe of primitives harvest a seed from a red-leafed plant, only found in this corner of the jungle. The village shaman claimed it was the voice of the gods. But the poison you put into his drink took effect too quickly for him to explain how it was used.
Oh, fuck.
After massacring the tribe to cover your tracks, you now sit before Mr. Rentworth of the Miskatonic Botany Department.
Wow, I'm just pure evil.
Rentworth...
What gave that away?
Yeah, I'm a cultist.
Yep. Rentworth marvels at the bag of strangely hot seeds you have placed before him and agrees to cultivate them for you, if you will fund his research into giant bonsai trees.
And here I am with no money.
Yeah, so I'm afraid you can only refuse.
Yeah, alright.
What a waste of time, you mutter to yourself. In a fit of anger, you decide to flush the seeds down the toilet.
Yeah, that's not gonna backfire.
As you watch the seeds disappear down the toilet, you feel much better. Gain 1 sanity. Fail.
Yeah, I was just... If I know I needed money, I would have gone somewhere else.
So, Yellow.
Oh dear.
You're looking pretty good there on the body front.
Yeah, I'm fairly swole.
Why don't you go downtown and pick some fights?
Let's see, what have we got?
That is an option.
Hop over some of the others.
Right, so we've got the sanitarium for sanity or insanity and knowledge. We've got the magic shop for riches and magic. We've got Madame Fufu's for a gamble or performance. And we've got downtown for riches, magic and performance, or body and performance.
Tell you what, let's try downtown.
What will you be doing downtown? The 2 body is perform the reaping, and the 1 of 3 things is plan a heist.
Let's do the reaping. Kill everyone. I mean, it's what I've been doing so far, isn't it? I've been killing all the monsters, so...
Yeah. The Ancient One demands sacrifices. At night you scour the slums for worthy victims, slaying gangsters and vigilantes and chasing down those who run away. Gain 2 body and 1 performance. Making your getaway from your last job, you seem to have taken a wrong turn in the sewer. You find yourself in an area where strange red-leafed plants grow next to the murky water.
This seems suspiciously similar to something that happened before.
As you investigate the plants, you are suddenly disturbed by a mob of vagrants approaching you menacingly.
What have I done?
Oh no!
In the dark, it seems as though their eyes have a red glow. Do you attack them or talk to them? I wonder.
I'm here to do the reaping, so let's attack them.
You flash them a dark smile and motion for them to bring it on. As the first
I am now a JoJo's character.
As the first vagrant swings at you, you are surprised by the strength behind the punch. You duck below the next blow, as it cracks the wall behind you.
Look at this, JoJo.
Gain 1 performance. Realizing that the Queensbury rules will get you killed in this fight, you pull out your shotgun and start mowing down the vagrants.
Indiana Jones solution.
Gain 1 body.
Nice!
That was pretty good.
As the last vagrant crashes down with a hole blown clear through him, you breathe a sigh of relief. Wish they were on our side, you'd think, as you make your way back to the hideout.
That's what I get for flushing down the toilet.
That was pretty good. Grump, you're first this time because you have the highest influence. I forgot to mention that. Turn order is determined by influence.
Oh. So raising influence is always a good thing.
With that in mind, and because I happen to have both influence and wealth, I'll just go back to the university and see about searching through ancient tomes of eldritch knowledge.
Interesting. Delving through tomes. You spend your time locked in the Orn Library, yada 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 yada. Yada. You can't believe your luck. That fool Dr. Dyer had discovered the last of the Shoggoths in a hidden city in Antarctica. Words.
Mouse of madness.
Of course, no one believes him, but at least the university is sending an archaeological expedition to the ancient city. And thanks to your knowledge of ancient civilizations, the faculty chose you to lead the expedition.
I have read Mouth of Madness. I know how this ends.
Oh yeah. As you step into the frigid city, you plan how you will capture a Shoggoth. You could use the Rod of the Elder Things, a basic magical item that even a novice in magic could use. And alternatively, you had brought along plans to build the Vacutane of 5 billion. With some engineering know-how, you could put it together and suck up the Shoggoth.
Poltergeist 5000.
Your magic and knowledge are the same, so, which one? Grump?
Honestly, let's go for the magic.
You can still see Winston floating within the gelatinous mass of the Shoggoth, slowly decomposing. As the monstrosity now towers above you, you recoil at the sight of this mass of pseudopodia, gibbering mouths and eyeballs. Lose 1 sanity. You quickly compose yourself and cast the spell to activate the Rod of the Elder Things. Immediately, the monster backs off and almost seems to bow before you. You have gained control of the Shoggoth. Gain 2 magic and 1 influence. Now, it is only the simple matter of keeping it a secret, you think, as you order the Shoggoth to track down your remaining colleagues.
Oh.
Oh, wow.
You have used your Rod of Lordly Might. Congratulations.
Meanwhile, I want more influence. Putting on your best fake smile, so on, so forth. Mrs. Wiggins had sent you to buy supplies for the pantry. In a normal pantry, this would have meant flour or sugar. But in a witch's pantry, this meant cockatrice eye and basilisk teeth. You had bought nearly all of the ingredients when you hit a teensy little snag. Nowhere in Arkham could you find any Rofnock fur. Now, it was a bit tricky, but you could head over to the swamp and wrangle up a tuft, or alternatively, you could hit the books and see if there were any substitutes. You had been stalking around the swamp for a couple of hours when you saw a Rofnock darting between some reeds. Being the tactful, stealthy type, you had charged out from your hiding place, screaming a loud war cry. Being the agile, acrobatic type, you had promptly tripped over your own feet and face-planted into the wet mud.
Oh,
God damn it!
As you got up, you realized that the mud had completely soaked into some of the artifacts you had been carrying, ruining them.
Oh no.
Lose 1 magic.
Poor Jamie.
yeah.
Mrs. Wiggins wasn't happy at all and made you run around the kitchen, catching chickens till she was satisfied you would do better next time. 1 performance. Yeah, that's alright. That's roughly what I wanted.
Not a complete loss.
Green.
Yeah, you just failed miserably.
Yeah.
Alright, now I'm just gonna go check out the magic shop. No, the witch's hut, I mean. Check the witch's hut.
The witch's hut. Oh, wait. Witch's hut, yes. Hunting monsters or a dark meditation?
Which one's which? That's which.
Knowledge to body. Body, magic, insanity.
I think I'm gonna go hunt monsters. I've already looked like Chewbacca, so...
Good point. Armed with the knowledge from dusty tomes and ancient weaponry, you know the rest. If there's one thing you hate about the swamp, it is all the fairies. Those damned pointy-eared bugs were a nuisance. Or, at that, a nuisance who stole your favorite muck-treading boots. This ends here! Lure them into a trap, or challenge them to an arm wrestling contest.
Arm wrestling is... I'm Chewbacca.
Your challenge accepted, you meet the fairies at the Mushroom Circle as the moon rises above the swamp. Which one of you will face me, you shout into the chill night air.
Oh no.
In the distance you hear... That's here, H-E-R-E, a soft thumping sound. Soon it became a louder thrashing and was accompanied by the creaking of trees being pushed over.
Oh, fuck!
You have summoned an ant.
Fuck! Chewbacca versus an ant.
I was gonna say King Frost, but whatever.
Smashing through the trees came the biggest fairy you had ever seen, nearly double your size and with bulging muscles.
Oh no, she had tears.
That thing was clearly juicing.
You have found Long.
Not one to back down from a challenge, you sit down and let the contest begin.
Oh, I'm gonna lose horribly.
As dawn started to approach, the two of you were still wrestling for a win. Gain a body. Finally, the fairy's strength gives out and you smash his arm against the table. Nursing his bruised arm, he clearly seems impressed with your strength. The two of you spend the next day swapping bench pressing techniques.
Okay, I made myself a friend out of that.
Gain one body. Oh,
Okay, now
and they gave you your boot back too. Gain one sanity.
now I'm like built like a bodybuilder, and
Yeah.
Why do I get the feeling that we're going for very similar things?
A lot of us are.
Yeah. So, yellow.
Oh dear, what options do I have?
I'm not gonna lie, you're pretty close to the body requirement of an ending.
Yeah, I think I know which one that is as well. But I don't really have any options to get body. Well, other than downtown, I don't really want to right now. So I think, what is the option in the mayor's house, the mayor's place again?
That is 1 riches, 2 influence, or 1 performance, 1 sanity, and 1 influence.
I think I'll do the mayor's house with the first option.
Interesting.
Not the mayor's house, the town hall. What am I thinking about? I'm an idiot.
Well, it's okay. Mayor Lovecraft understands. You organize compromising situations, just like everyone else. 2 influence and 1 riches. While sitting in your office, you suddenly hear a raucous commotion coming from downstairs. As you rush and see what's going on, you are suddenly assailed by the smoke rising from the first floor. From the shouted slogans, you immediately realize the town hall has been attacked by the National Anti-Prohibition League. Another Molotov cocktail flies through your window, instantly
They know
setting
all about
your
cocktails.
desk on fire. Do you help stop the spreading flames, or do you go beat the snot out of the protesters?
Now, which do you think I'm going to do?
With that much body?
I'm gonna beat them up. I mean,
do a
come
Jack Kirby on them.
You march down to the foyer, burning table leg in hand. A bandanaed protester charges at you. You give him such a blow that he smashes into the antique coin display. Never one to miss an opportunity, you pick up the coins. Gain 3 riches. A few more protesters work up the courage to take you on, but each one receives an abject lesson in manners thanks to your flaming table leg.
Scoundrel! Whack! Scoundrel! Whack!
As they get up groaningly, they run out of the building. I have certainly made a name for myself today, you think, as the flames roar in the background. Gain 2 influence.
Nice.
And I believe, yes, it has burned down.
Ooh!
Grump, you can't pick it anymore.
We've destroyed the town hall.
Holy shit!
Well, with that in mind, what else
Didn't know
does
that could happen.
Battle of Influence? Oh, I know. Let's go and harass the church to annoy Jamie.
You know, the church kind of... The name sounds like a cult in itself.
It's but that's
it's starting a
2
cult
points of
in the
influence.
cult.
Looks really nice.
Yep. Fair enough. Indoctrination. One moment while I wet my whistle. So how are you finding it so far, folks?
It's very quirky.
It is.
I'm
It's
having
funny.
fun.
Yeah, it's very
It's
enjoyable.
very amusing, and god damn it, Jamie, use a glass.
I'm sorry. Are you asking me not to use the thirst extinguisher? Indoctrination. Yes, we know how this goes. Mr. Erickson burst into your office and grabbed you by the throat. You brushed aside his quivering finger inches away from your face as he angrily accuses you of the disappearance of his beloved wife Molly. Of course, you are responsible for many disappearances, but the name Molly doesn't instantly ring a bell. As the man started to get increasingly violent, you vaguely remember a woman who was going to expose the church's child labor camp. Might have been Molly. You can either persuade him that the church is not responsible, or agree to take him to Molly.
Well, of course we're going to take him to Molly, because that way we'll get to kill him.
You calmly explain to Mr. Erickson that you know where they took Molly, and that you will help him to find her. From his menacing grimace, you quickly gather that he wasn't buying your lie. For such a distraught man, you are amazed at how much joy he gained from punching you in the face. Lose one body. After roughing you up, he storms out, threatening to expose you and the church. You realize that Mr. Erickson will go straight to the police. Rushing to your phone, you call in a favor from the chief of police, requesting that he make your little problem and the evidence go away. As you put down the phone, you mumble in irritation, realizing that you are now going to owe the chief one.
Damn it.
Lose one riches. You definitely need to practice becoming a better liar. Gain one performance. Not bad. So, me. Well, I'm actually seriously behind on everything. Magic. You operate the shop front, buying powerful artifacts and selling some love potions and minor trinkets. Gain one magic and two riches. It has been raining the entire week. One day, just before closing time, a man wanders into the shop. From his bored expression, it's obvious that he's just in here to wait out the worst of the storm. Slowly, recognition dawns on you. He is one of the scientists from the Talk Institute, a government-funded organization working on classified experiments. A plan forms in your head. If you could get him to wear the talisman of Amon Ophek, you'll be able to spy on everything he does. How will you do that?
Buy one, get one free.
You welcome the man to your shop and quickly start a rapport. It starts to clear up outside, and he says that he should get going. You hand him the talisman as a gift. He tries to refuse, but you are very forceful, and convince him that it will bring him luck. The next day sees you gleefully hovering over your scrying font, frantically making notes on all the experiments you witnessed the man doing. Gain 2 knowledge. Yellow.
Let's see. I think I will go to the university.
I figured you might. Delving through tomes, mayhap.
Let's see. I think I'll go on an expedition.
You go on an expedition. That's a very interesting move. You convince the university faculty to send you on an expedition. You push your body to its limits, searching for lost artifacts and forbidden knowledge. Gain stats. It has come to your attention that a group of students had started experimenting with the occult. Deciding that they could be useful to your cause, you barge into one of their clandestine meetings and show them the true power of the Ancient One. Do you summon an eldritch horror, or do you explain the Doe formula?
Wait a sec. The stream's... Connecting. This is fun.
Oh dear.
Sorry, I won't be a minute.
Well, that's fine. Explaining is probably intelligence. You're probably not good at either of these. Not bad. We've been going for 46 minutes. I'm really stretching out the narration. So.
Nice.
Oh, lovely. Right, there we go. Sorry about the music break, folks. Turns out, it doesn't like being outside the window. So, Epic. Intelligence or... magic?
Well, I don't believe I have much magic, and I don't have much intelligence, but I will attempt to explain the Doe formula anyway.
Very good.
You do have slightly more intelligence than you do magic, so...
Yeah, slightly. Not much, but slightly.
You start writing the formula on a nearby blackboard and explaining its power. You have to stop frequently to scratch out some of the numbers, and soon you aren't even sure where you messed up. After an hour of confused scribbling, you look up to see that students had left. You seem to convince them that studying was more fun than the occult.
Well, you know, you win some, you lose some.
On their chairs, they have left behind their robes and a grimoire. Gain 1 magic. Good.
Well, I can have put on my vote.
Consolation prize is nice.
Yeah, good consolation prize. Green.
Alright. I think I'm gonna try this time downtown.
Okay. Reaping.
I was thinking reaping, yeah.
Sacrifices. Yes. The bootlegger cracks open the crate, and you stare at the neatly lined bottles of whiskey. These will fetch quite a nice price. Madame Fufu's alone will buy at least 15 crates. You hear a sharp whistling sound, and the smuggler collapses, clutching the knife buried in his throat.
Oh, skullduggery.
All around you, shadowy figures step out of cover, their stupid green hats causing you to grimace in recognition. Northsiders. Damn Irish bastards.
Oh no, it's Irish people. Run away.
Very Lovecraft.
Your group was surrounded. Fight your way out, or summon an Earloff.
What do you think I'm gonna do? Fight my way out with my giant Wookiee muscles.
The Northsiders were only wielding makeshift melee weapons. Looks like they wanted to keep the fight civil. Fair enough. You put your gun down and pull out your Kopesh, the curved blade glinting in the moonlight.
Wookiee swordsman.
Oh my goodness. It's kind of more like a scythe than a sword.
Yeah.
Oh, a curved blade.
One of the paddies takes a swing at you with a baseball bat covered in nails. You sidestep the swing and neatly sever his head from his neck. Horror slowly grips the heart of the Irish gang as your men draw their own Kopeshes. You trained these men yourself. Within seconds, you are back to hauling crates into your truck. You kick over the smuggler to see if he's still alive. Looks like I won't have to pay you after all, you smile. leaving his body amid the severed body parts of all the paddies. Gains
Yeah,
4 riches
hardcore.
and 1 influence. They were not ready.
No.
Last but one turn, Mr. Grump.
Oh,
You are probably A-OK on influence. Well, close.
Well, that's 7 influence, and what is that? 5 magic?
Yep.
Let's go for the magic shop and crank up my insanity.
Yeah! Spell casting. You summon eldritch horrors and open portals to other planes. Your power grows, but you can feel your sanity slipping.
It's only at -3, I don't give a flip.
Gain 2 magic, but lose 1 sanity. Spirits. You'd think being dead would make you less of a prick, but you'd be wrong. You had tracked down the location of the hidden Temple of Valrock. Well, you kind of had an idea about the vicinity, but had struggled to narrow it down. Having almost given up hope, you read in the papers of a tragic massacre at a railroad construction camp. To a man, they had all died under weird circumstances. Looking closer, you realize that this particular group had been constructing a tunnel in the mountains, where you were pretty sure the Temple of Valrock was located. Closing shop early, you headed to the site of the massacre as quickly as you could, and performed a seance, hoping that one of the spirits could shed some more light on the location of the temple. That's when Barton Munch arrived.
Fuck.
In life, he was a nasty, crass man who would sooner punch you in the face than give you the time of day. In death, he was a nasty, crass spirit who would punch your face in and then give you the time of day. At least he had matured slightly in death. As the aggressive spirit materialized, he immediately started commenting about your heritage and your possible relation to animals of the Suidae family. Noticing that this didn't bother you, he rushed for the attack. This wasn't your forced rodeo, and you had already set up protection wards. After an hour of Barton bashing at your wards and cursing, you finally realized he wasn't going to let up. You needed a new plan. Put up your dukes or psychoanalyze his aggression.
Well, I can't really put up my dukes because I don't really have any bodies. Let's go psychoanalyze this guy because I have 3 brain.
That might work out, yeah.
And I'm also nutfuck.
So, Barton, about your childhood, did you feel any attraction to your mother, you started? Well, Barton looked at you aghast. Clearly you had misread the source of his anger.
God damn it.
I mean,
That's hilarious.
Oh, it gets
for
better.
you.
I mean, did you ever think of banging your mum and killing your dad, you stammered? That did not come out right. Barton flew into a rage and struck your wards with increased furore. You could feel your wards starting to crack. In a panic, you pulled out your tome on seances and furiously paged through it for anything which would help. And there it was, a banishment spell you had never noticed before. Gain 1 knowledge. With one last expletive, Barton vanished, your spell banishing him from the material plane.
Well, damn it.
Exhausted, you just sat there till dawn, the spell having taken its toll. Lose 1 magic.
Aw.
That's not good.
Well, I still have 6 magic, so that's decent.
Yeah.
That's true.
And apparently I actually gained a bit of sanity back. Because
Yep.
I'm up to 2 instead of 3.
Yeah. No, that's me.
Never mind. Brain fart.
Yep. Okay, indoctrination time. Putting on your
I like
best.
how it says health in the window.
Yep. It was time for the annual Church of Starry Wisdom Bake-Off. For the first circle members, it was a time of fun and games with quaint prizes, where the losers get a free vacation upstate. 7th circle members knew that it was a death race, with the winners being given powerful artifacts and tomes, and the losers get sent to the slave mines up north. You had been drafted into the competition, and now it was do or die, and these hands weren't meant for mining. Being the optimistic sort, you decided to rather focus on the possible prizes than the imminent threat of death. You had your eye on 2 possible prizes: a voucher for singing lessons with the renowned opera star Sofia Gorducci, or an ancient tome called The Kabbalah of Lost Stars. For the voucher, you would have to enter the pastry competition, and for the Kabbalah, the largest cake contest. Let's go with pastry. Neither caring much for reading or baking, you bought a couple of pastries on the morning of the competition. You didn't win, but you didn't lose either, and you didn't have to read, so win-win. Gain 1 sanity.
You must have read a bit. Come on, look at that 2 intelligence.
Given that you probably could have won if you had opened a book and bothered to learn something, you wondered if you should start reading more. Nah. Well, meh. Fishman.
Oh boy. Well,
you got the body. You've definitely got the body.
I'm gonna try going to the university again, see if I can build up my knowledge.
Just a note, you only have 1 turn after this.
I know.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I think the thing I need requires knowledge. I think.
I'm not telling you.
Yeah, exactly.
You thank the dark gods for this little tidbit. A nobody assistant professor named Wilmarth from the English Literature Department had come to ask your advice about some letters he had received. He showed you the letters.
Well, there's A, and there's B, and then there's C. That's a nasty one.
From a Vermont farmer named Akeley and his claims about alien creatures living near his farm. Smartass. You tried to act cool as you realized the farmer had stumbled on your Migo mining operation, and you started to break out in a cold sweat as you scanned over a few of the lines. I
have a mining operation?
Yes. I have certain evidence that monstrous things do indeed live in the woods, and the things come from another planet. Up to that point, you could have persuaded Wilmarth that Akeley was a cook, but it was the next sentence which stopped your heart cold. I think they mean to get rid of me because of what I have discovered, and there is a great black stone with unknown hieroglyphics half worn away which I found in the woods on Round Hill. The Gurchoff Stone. That farmer had stolen the Gurchoff Stone, and he's intending to send it to Wilmarth by train today.
Oh, shit.
You must get it back. You can send Amigo to intercept the package, or try to convince Wilmarth that it was a hoax. Dicey either way.
Yeah, it is. Well, I think I'm gonna try sending Amigo.
Okay.
Probably not gonna go well, but, you know.
Of course, there is a wonderful movie you could also go watch, the 3 Amigos.
It's terrible. How dare you?
You tried...
That's not even that bad of a pun.
You tried to contact the Migo over the phone.
Oh no.
Oh no.
The first few times you called, you only got their answering machine.
Why do they have an answering machine?
While leaving
They're
your
Bitcoin miners.
While leaving your 12th message, you suddenly noticed a droning snickering in the background. You
Assholes.
stopped mid-sentence. Are you telling me you fungoid bastards have been lying to me this whole time? I should have known there's no such thing as an answering machine.
What?
1920s, my dear boy. Furious, you slammed the phone down so hard that you broke your desk in two and proceeded to wreck your entire office.
Well then.
Well, that's probably the body score.
It was obvious that they didn't respect you in the least. Guess there's no time left to stop Wilmarth now, you think, as you sat down against the wall of your wrecked office. Lose one sanity. Fail.
Well, sanity isn't very important, so...
And yellow. This is your last but one chance.
Wait, I'm yellow.
Yeah, he keeps
green.
wins.
It is
Oh,
green.
So I'm trying to figure out what I should do. I've got a pretty good body.
Well...
You got pretty crap everything else.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How many human brains are used in Amigo answering machine? Well, one, obviously.
So, I don't know.
I mean, the body's good for some things. Would you like to check the endings again?
Oh, yeah, I'm sure one involves body.
Well, one of them definitely involves body. I'm not sure what this one... Oh, that one probably involves performance. So no. So we have... Ooh, I've not actually done that one. That one looks quite interesting. The obelisk is probably the one you were both aiming for.
Yes.
I mean, that was a bit of a no-brainer. Sorry. It was my first one, too. Oh, well.
Also, with that, with how much strength they got, that's kind of, you know...
I would say focus on your knowledge. You have the sanitarium. You have the witch's hut.
Alright.
It's up to you if you want to go for the same, or you could suddenly try and shift gears.
I think I'm gonna try sanitarium. Maybe, I don't know. I think sanitarium.
More sanity, then.
Yeah.
You have seen too much. Oh, dear.
You are now hyper sane.
Oh, you lucky sod. That night you dream of the depths. A dark universe filled with water. Black, thick liquid fills your lungs, but you do not drown. Also, your name is Alan, obviously. Below, a gigantic dark shape stirs, sensing the feast which had entered its domain.
Well, shit.
Terror engulfs you as the shape slowly swims toward you. You can either use your non-existent magic or try to wake up.
Well, I guess try to wake up, because...
Through the force of your will, you instantly end the dream and sit up straight in your bed.
I'm guessing that was sanity, or...
Yep.
Maybe knowledge?
Yep, and that's why I said you lucky bastard. You count yourself blessed to have been given this vision of the depths. Gain 2 sanity. You smile, feeling invigorated for surviving the ordeal. Gain 1 body. You are now the buffest individual.
The buffest lady.
Mr. Grump, you have 7 influence, and I assume you're after knowledge, aren't you?
I'm sorry, you cut out for a moment. What was that?
I assume you're after oh wait, no, you're after magic, aren't you? Magic, knowledge, one of those.
Yes, let us go for... Stupid question. Let's go take a look at the gambling for a moment.
Just to show off the gambling, why the hell not?
Why not?
You spend
It
your
also gives
time.
me some more influence.
You spend your time gambling and feeding the debaucherous habits of some of the more weak-willed patrons. The fools quickly find themselves in your debt. You won 5 riches and gained 1 influence.
Ka-ching!
Well played. Madame Fufu's was not what one would call a stand-up joint, what with all the gambling, drinking, and other things happening. So it was no surprise when you heard the sound of sirens blaring over the raucous. A raid.
The pigs. Oh no.
Now you all knew what was going to happen next. Madame Fufu will obviously pay the bribes needed to keep the place open, but the rest of you were fair game. The usual shouting, screaming, and roughhousing turned to shouting, screaming, and roughhousing as everyone fled for an exit. The throng was clogging all the exits, and spending time in jail was really going to throw a spanner in your ending the world plan. Prepare to bribe your way out with 2 riches, or jump out of a window.
Well, I don't really have a body stat now, do I? Bribery it is, because I'm a fucking zillionaire.
A billionaire as in 7.
As the police barged into the club, you casually walk up to an officer who seemed to be in charge. You told him that you were desperately lost, and you must have taken a wrong turn on your way to church. You also helpfully pointed out the wad of cash which he seemed to have dropped. Thanking you for your assistance, the officer jokingly explained that if he had a dime for every time he got lost on his way to church, he would have had a wad of cash by now. After being escorted outside, you decided to hang around for a bit. Some of the squad's car doors were ajar, and since the cops seemed to have their hands full, no one noticed when you later walked off with a couple of shotguns hidden in your coat. Gain 2 body. Well done.
That's a pretty good trade, because now I have shotguns. Plural.
I got a shotgun.
I think. I might actually theoretically be able to pull this out the hat.
Dude, you have such high performance, you may as well go for it. Play in the band, it gives you 2 performance.
I can't. Instead, I've got to organize a bake sale.
Oh no.
We already know about the bake sale. Usually, if you start a conversation with, "Hey, would you like to join our cult of ancient tentacled alien-worshipping madmen?" you get really rude answers.
Oh shit!
True, it used to be the cult's main marketing pitch during the 17th century, but that led to the Salem witch trials and widespread layoffs in the marketing department. No, these days you start
Did they
small.
use their answering machines as well?
You start with, "Hey, did you know that you could have eternal life with a nearly unlimited supply of Hershey bars if you only let us hook you up to this machine and cleanse your aura?"
Body Phaetons.
Then, after a couple of sessions, you explain to them that the world was once ruled by tentacled aliens, and by paying you a couple of $1,000s, you can nearly guarantee that they will never show up again.
Is this Scientology?
Nearly
yes.
guaranteed.
Yes, it is. It blatantly is. Then, after they were bankrupt, you just explained to them that serving slavering monstrosities from another dimension could actually be quite satisfying. And so, you progress them through the circles until they either earn their keep or end up on the chopping block. Quite simple, actually. Only catch was that you desperately needed to find a new gimmick to to convince people to join the first circle. Sorry about that. Theology. Okay, here goes. So, 70 plus million years ago, an evil being named Scientio decided to solve overpopulation on his galactic colony by building a holy temple called the Great Glass Elevator. He used evil hypnotic elevator music to trick people into entering. Once inside, they were transported to Earth, where they were dropped into volcanoes.
This is Scientology!
Yes, it is.
Their spirits still hang around even today, and if you don't bathe regularly in blessed motor oil, they will feed on your chakra. For the low, low price of $50, you can pick up your blessed motor oil in the foyer. Gain 2 riches and 2 influence.
Whoever thought of this great class elevator thing must be up and out of their mind.
Mr. Fishman!
What do I even do now?
I mean, pretty obviously the Miskatonic.
Yeah, okay, it's to university again.
We already know what ending you're going for!
Yeah. If that even is an ending, I hope it is.
One late afternoon, as you were locking up your office, you were surprised to note an elderly gentleman waiting for you in the corridor. The gentleman identified himself as a servant of a Mr. Delaporte, and explained that his master had recently taken up residence in Exham Priory in Wales. At first you thought of just dismissing the fellow, but the name Exham Priory vaguely rang a bell. The gentleman continued to explain that the Priory had been Mr. Delaporte's ancestral home, which he had recently bought and started to restore. Goodness me, this sounds very familiar. At this point, you were already feeling quite bored with this conversation. The man continued to drone on, but one part caught your attention. Rats in the walls. And there it is, the name drop. According to the man, Delaporte claimed he heard rats in the wall every night, which no one else heard or saw, and he wanted to enlist your help in solving the puzzle. With your memory jogged, you recalled a passage in the Tome of Alshabek about a hidden temple located in the hills of Wales, which would put it around the area of Exham Priory. Also, it spoke of phantom rats, which would show the way. Oh, obviously I'm going to Wales. I love Wales. I wonder why I love Wales. Oh wait, no, it's you, so it's travel to Wales or send an acolyte.
Hey, let's travel to Wales. I see no problems.
Shortly after arriving in Exham Priory, you, Mr. Delaporte, a Captain Norris, and a few other gentlemen spent the night in an underground cellar awaiting the phenomenon. Some of you, since you are severely claustrophobic, you were already sweating profusely by the time the gnawing in the walls started. As the scratching and the gnawing intensified, you suddenly snapped. Lose 1 sanity.
Oh boy.
You ran out of the cellar, screaming at the top of your lungs that you were all going to die at the demonic paws of tiny vermin.
Well, we are tomorrow, so, I mean...
Not your proudest moment. Lose 1 influence. Delaporte felt badly for putting your obviously fragile mind through such an ordeal, and lent you a copy of How to Face Your Fears and Other Soothing Techniques for Toddlers. Gain 1 knowledge.
Womp, womp.
Well, yellow. You're
It's green.
Green.
One of them. Colorblind mode needs some work.
I think I'm gonna try to. I've already got body up pretty good, so I'm gonna try going to the sanitarium, get my sanity up a bit.
It's already at +7.
Alright, in that case I'll try out the...
Too late. That's okay. You technically have the major achievement for 2 different endings. Oh, and there was a reporter, apparently he's following leads on people going missing, and suspicious activities in the asylum. Good save.
culprit of this be? I couldn't figure it out.
With a little money, you could easily make this problem go away. Alternatively, you can try and have him committed, but that would require a lot of paperwork.
No, okay, so I can't just beat the crap out of him then. Alright. I'll just have him, money.
These kinds of accidents require someone with a particular set of skills. Skills which weren't that cheap, but fortunately you had been saving up for just such an occasion. The next morning, the police found the body of the reporter. According to the reports, he had accidentally backed into a knife 11 times, tripped, fell off a cliff and drowned in the forest below.
Oh yes, that's how you drown, in the forest.
Apparently, he had also taken the time to write you a note in which he bequeathed you his gym membership and tickets to complimentary dance classes.
I see why a gym membership would be entirely necessary in this situation.
Gain even more body and 1 performance. It is time! It is time for us to choose our endings.
It's time to do. It's not funny.
So, I will be going for the Jade Gong. I'll probably fail, but it's worth a go.
This is the performance one, right?
Performance is definitely an aspect, yes. Grump.
You.
Which ending?
Okay, let's see. I'll have influence and magic.
You do. You also have some money, maybe enough.
What does the hateful screech use?
Well, I can tell you it involves performance.
Which I don't have, really.
Mm-hmm.
Alright, so it's either going to be the cockerel or the vigilant.
I believe the vigilant is the one that stops investigators.
It's indeed the anti-traitor role.
Well, with that in mind, I will be the vigilant because I have the most influence.
Very good. Mr. Green, Mr. Fishman, even yellow.
Well, do you really need telling which one I'm choosing?
The obelisk.
Obviously.
And, well, you have 5 choices left.
I'm trying to figure which one's sanity.
Honestly, it's probably the FBI infiltrator.
The FBI infiltrator is Santi. Let me see. No, that's not it.
I can go look up a Steam guide if you need.
No. I know that the FBI infiltrator is Santi, but I'm trying to work out which one you might actually have a chance at. Well, you might as well go for the FBI infiltrator.
Alright.
The Reckoning. You had climbed down into the caverns of Mortathia yourself and single-handedly dragged the heavy stone obelisk from its depths. Now, the appointed time at hand, you read the ancient Mortathian inscription. Epic success.
Nice.
With great gusto, you strike the jade stone gong. Even with the worried faces of your acolytes, you proceed to play the noiseless gong like a drum. The only sound that can be heard is your rhythmic thumping and the tapping of your toe. You are not sure if you are using this magical item correctly, but being a true performer, you know that the show must go on. Minor fail. I didn't have magic. As the ceremony reaches its end, you are still standing off to the side, hand never far from your gun, eye flitting about, looking for treason or intruders. Nothing happened. You can't help but feel that this was a waste of your talents, and you could have helped the ritual much more in another capacity. Major fail.
Ooh, that is bad.
Ah, well.
You had infiltrated this cult months ago. The FBI had made sure that the plant would go smoothly. Perhaps keeping your badge strapped to your belt wasn't such a great plan, and the cultists' knowing glances probably have tipped you off that they were onto you.
Not sanity then.
Now, lying here, bound and gagged, awaiting to be fed to the Ancient One, you think you should have probably paid more attention to the deception classes at the Academy. Unfortunately, it wasn't sanity that was the major stat. Performance was.
Well, you do have to disguise yourself, so makes sense.
Defeat question mark. The ritual quiets down and all eyes turn to the immense stone-carved door nestled into the side of the temple, its squid dragon bas-relief glistening wet in the moonlight. After 15 minutes of waiting, a dreaded realization started to gnaw at your mind. After an hour, only the ones too stubborn to admit defeat were still left on the island. As the moon set behind the waves, only the ones who could not deal with the horror of what they had done for seemingly no gain were still on the island as it again started to sink beneath the waves. In the end, in the aftermath of the failed ritual, your fellow cultists had left you at the site. Fortunately for you, a couple of nice men had found you and given you a pretty white jacket. It was a bit tight, but your friend Floopsy the Flying Elephant said it was because you were big-boned. You spend the rest of your life in a luxuriously pillowed room.
How lovely.
You would always brag to the light bulbs that Arkham Sanitarium was a fitting palace for you. The king of the universe. After the big failure, you faded into obscurity. You never really stood out from the other cultists, but now, with no purpose, you were just an unremarkable... man? Woman? No one knew or cared. Years later, when your neighbors broke into your apartment to find out what that god-awful smell was, they were surprised to find your rotting corpse. Didn't even know anyone lived here. They just shrugged as the coroner took you away. Ow.
Wow.
That's a pretty rough ending.
As you laid on the altar, you had plenty of time to muse about how terrible
Goodness.
an undercover agent you were. But as the ritual dagger was lifted over your chest, you consoled yourself with the fact that you had at least tried to save the world. You slowly opened your clenched eyes as you heard a shot, followed by shout telling the cultists to drop what they were doing. The FBI had finally arrived. Your colleagues managed to arrest a lot of the cultists that day, but you knew some had escaped. The others mocked you as they untied you, commenting that you would have looked nicer with an apple in your mouth and a bit of garnish. Your humiliating failure had not earned you any favors, and you would never amount to much in the FBI, but at least you were alive.
It says RIP at the top.
Carrying the obelisk of Mortathia had taken its toll on your back. After the great failure, you had thrown yourself into working out, and in later life became one of those lean, muscular, elderly people, all bronzed and sexy.
Oh my goodness.
Unfortunately, one day as you reached for a can of pickled prunes, your back spasmed from your old ritual injury. You laid there on the floor for several days. Just before darkness finally took you, you thought about how you probably should have invested more into friends and family instead of your body.
Well done.
So, somebody did the Grimoire roll. That was very good. That is a lovely title for what Grump did, which was destroy the university. But where was the earth-shattering kaboom?
Oh dear.
So, yeah, this has been Fthagn. I would like to note that there are mods. I don't know if the stream can see the Steam overlay there. No.
Nope.
No.
So there are currently 2 mods with the possibility of more. And of course, there's an update coming soon, making it even better. So, what did everybody think?
I thought it was pretty fun.
Yeah, pretty fun. Yeah.
Although it's.
I appreciate that even bodging up, you kind of get an idea of what you're supposed to be looking for.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. And interestingly, because this is the first time we tried multiplayer, I didn't actually know that the defeats and victories would sum up.
Yeah, I don't think that's the greatest mechanic.
No, it's still clever. But yeah, the humor definitely hit more than Monster Prom. And
So, with that in mind, why don't you show off the New Game Plus stuff, because now that we've actually had a game, we can then be no longer spoiled by stuff.
yeah, okay. Well, I will show off the just one player for now, yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
Yeah, just do a quick one. To show you how quickly a run can be finished. Funnily enough. So, endings. I've unlocked some of the endings, but you'll notice that the actual stat numbers require a further unlock of 6 points. So let's pick an ending we didn't actually know, the Jade Gong. So the minor stat, it'll cost 2 points. Minor stat was magic. We'd worked that out. Major stat, 5 points. It was going to be influence. Okay. And then 6 points for the thing. It would be 2 points to unlock an event stat. There are some events I've already unlocked. So let's get right to it. Let's get some influence and magic, shall we?
That's not influence, that's performance.
Oh shit, so it is.
Oh well.
You will get.
Well, I got some body out of that.
You found Medusa, I guess.
I got Medusa. Oh, I haven't unlocked the Maltese cockerel, so influence and money. That's what I was going for in the first place. Mrs. Wiggins. Yeah, so we're just gonna quickly skip through everything. I know that doesn't seem cool, but we do want a good ending. Out of frog saliva.
What?
Calm down, woman. It's not that bad. Oh dear, we lost our influence.
We're out of frog saliva.
Yeah. Right. Well,
That was pointless.
we're gonna. Yeah, that was. We're gonna need some money because I'm not sure if we're gonna get this. Right. That. Yes, we did make it. Okay, we've got 5 riches. That's actually almost enough. Almost. So we might actually be able to do this just with drafted into competition, blah blah blah. We will fluffiest patry. Oh no, we lost some knowledge.
Oh wow.
What knowledge? You're brainless.
Yeah.
You had no knowledge. How do you lose knowledge?
Shit. Unless this event gives us money, we're gonna get a minor fail, I think.
You are now brain dead.
Wait.
Jason.
Host a charity gala. We might get money out of this. if we get money out of this... Yes! There we go! It is time! Right, let us go for the Maltese cockerel. Will we do it? Yes, we did! You heft the Maltese cockerel
And
high
that's another
above your
achievement.
head. Yes, it is. Not a powerful trinket, but not a cheap one either. The golden statuette covered in gemstones cost you a hefty sum at a black market auction in Morocco. Not to mention the effort it took to strong-arm, dissuade, and manipulate some of the other potential buyers, which included a couple of powerful criminals and diplomats, who were, if I may say, very magnanimous. Now, as the time has dawned, you release its magic. Success! Not an epic one, though. Blah blah blah, door. As the minutes dragged on, an unsettling thought crossed your mind. Was this all for nothing? As if laughing at your weak will, a loud rumbling sound boomed across the little aisle, and slowly the magnificent doors started to part. An unbelievable stench wafted out of the darkness, and those with poorer constitutions bent nearly double, retching streams of vomit. Then came that dread slopping sound, as something climbed slowly up from the depths of the temple. As everyone turned their heads to listen, it appeared out of the dark mouth of the temple, with the head of a kraken, a giant, slimy humanoid body, and wings which could certainly not support its titanic weight. Dread Cthulhu, the dreamer, the herald of the end times, stepped forth, and madness was for the first time truly born into the world. Two cultists immediately died of fright as the thing of the idols, that green, sticky spawn of the stars, awoke to claim his own. The stars were right again, and after 10,000 years, great Cthulhu was loose again, ready to feast. And some
Time
here
to take over the world.
would become his blessed first meal. In the end, with the rise of Cthulhu, the world was turned upside down. People fled the cities trying to hide from the horrors that now walk the earth. As an unfortunate side effect, your considerable wealth was now worthless. Still, being the savvy businessman that you were, you had organized a few deep ones to scour the beaches for shells, and quickly became a powerful business tycoon in the new shell-based world economy.
With your company, Shell.
Yes.
Wait, what?
Okay, so viewers, if you want to stick around for 5 minutes, we will be starting Omen Sight very soon. I'm very thankful that you've all turned up. And for people watching on YouTube, remember, like, subscribe, comment, so on and so forth. Hit the bell icon so you actually know when new videos turn up, because YouTube kind of sucks. And come visit the Mad Welshman, where the review of this game will definitely be up by the end of the month. And other games. Lots of other games. This has been Jamie the D. Voltic Surge, Epic Missing Number, and Salted Grump.
Have a good one.
Take care.